being discussed is done so in camera, and that any committee member who leaks that document should be prosecuted. I mean, so they're putting conditions forward. They said if those conditions are in place, then they're more than willing to make those documents available. I just want to get your response to that.
Thanks, Chairperson. My name is Dennis Kruyvach, and I'm with the New Age. Just want to know about your legitimacy, because this whole assault is against your legitimacy from the SABC. The committee's legitimacy, it's all around that.
Okay, it's 3 questions. Paul, you want to go? Thank you.
Evening, members. Paul Herman from News 24. The professor said that his testimony could be jeopardized because he didn't have access to documents in Braille. However, you mentioned earlier that that had been made known perhaps 3 weeks before. I'd just like you to repeat the dates in which the company's secretary, Teresa Galdenes, responded to the committee, and whether the onus was on the professor and his organization to provide him with Braille documents, seeing as Parliament has never done it before. Thank you.
I just wanted to know about what the way forward on the documents were, and just when the minister is scheduled to appear.
All right. We'll ask Honourable Marcosini to deal with the legitimacy. We'll talk to the documents. And if any other members want to join you, you can just indicate if you want to take any of these questions. But let us start with the documents. We stand by the statement we made this morning that those documents are not negotiable. And I'm hoping that the legal team are doing what is necessary to get those documents to Parliament. The Minister was scheduled to appear on the 13th. Yesterday she indicated that she's out of the country. She'll be back on the 14th, so she will appear on the 14th. The Minister will appear on the 14th. In terms of the business day question on commercially sensitive documents and guarantees, let us indicate that you can't negotiate with this ad hoc committee in the street. Yeah. We're hearing it now for the first time. We have made that undertaking. The judge, in fact, himself also indicated on Friday that if anybody feels that any document is of a sensitive nature, they should come and argue their case here. But it can't be that the GCEO makes that demand in the street and expects us to get to know about it. So we are still open to listening to any comment or any request for documents being held in camera and treating them accordingly. And of course, not only members of Parliament, but if anybody in Team SABC from our side, whether it is the committee secretary or the researcher, anybody that leaks documents that we've decided would be documents that are of a sensitive nature and mustn't be leaked, must face the full might of the law. That is the position that we have. And in terms of the Braille issue, sir, we wrote a letter to all that were going to appear before the committee on the 17th of November, giving a whole list of what it is that they're expected to do. And as I indicated on the second page, we said that this hearing will be conducted in English. However, if there is anybody that would prefer translation, they should notify the committee 5 days before the time. That was on the 17th. On the 18th of November, Ms. Teresa Gelderneys wrote to us, and we read the email for you, wrote to us and said, in future, could you give everything that you want Professor to process, could you give it to us in Word format, so that we as the board can do the necessary translation into Braille for the minister. We read it for you. And we did that. From that point onwards, every piece of document that we sent to the professor, we sent in the Word format so that they could do the necessary in terms of it. It was their request. We went a step further today saying that, look, we don't want to be difficult about it, but let us work together to see how, because we recognize that that will assist the process and be a fairer way of doing it. But it can't be that we are held ransom because there is no Braille when they themselves made an undertaking on the 18th. I also want to repeat that the Auditor General confirmed this morning that they had a shareholders meeting sometime in August where his report was tabled. It was not in Braille. The public protector, we asked specifically, have you ever had the request to present in Braille? She said, no, never. The portfolio committee, we asked the same thing, and they said, no, never. So we don't understand and we don't accept that there can be a legitimate argument that says because it's not in Braille, my rights have been violated. So I hope that clarifies. If I'm going to ask Honorable Khoza to deal with this question about how legitimate or otherwise we are.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is a sad day for South Africa, that the highest institution in the land is being questioned when it is performing its oversight and prudential oversight over a public enterprise. And to me, I think this is not just a questioning the legitimacy of this committee, is actually questioning the legitimacy of the institution itself. And again, it reflects the capacity and the level of comprehension, and it also, and the lack of understanding the principles of democracy. And I'm wondering whether these people, they actually understand whether by questioning the legitimacy of this ad hoc committee established by Parliament, and also which has decided to be, last week we didn't sit because we were respecting the courts. And we decided that we're going to meet today because we wanted to be sure that we are not in contempt of court. Now, I don't understand if we are in contempt of those that are at SABC because they are protecting whatever interest we don't know. The results of this inquiry will speak for themselves. But all I can say is that this structure is legitimate and this structure is duly established by the institution of Parliament. It is an integral part of Parliament.
Yep, thanks, Chair. Yeah, from our side, I'd like to associate ourselves with what the Chair and Honourable Dr. Khoza have said, and also to add that we are really, really proud of the work that the committee has done today in the face of delaying tactics by one man, because there isn't a board anymore, it's one man. In the face of delaying tactics, we stood our ground. We not only protected the SABC, we protected the institution of Parliament. I think this matter matter goes beyond just being about the SABC. It's about the institution of Parliament. It's about restoring the integrity of Parliament as the institution in the Constitution that is meant to hold the executive and SOEs accountable. So I'm really proud of the work that we've done, and we look forward to participating in the rest of the inquiry to make sure that we restore not only the integrity of Parliament, but also the SABC.
No, thanks. On the issue of legitimacy, I think we just want to make a call to Professor Maguve not to allow himself to be used for narrow agenda. He must not allow himself to be used by people who have no interest of the SABC at heart. This parliament is properly and democratically constituted. They have gone to court to question the legitimacy of this body. They have failed. They are now going back to court, and we welcome that. Everybody has rights to go to court and do whatever they like. But the work of this committee will continue. And I would like to ask Mr. Maguve on behalf of the EFF and the people of South Africa to please come and account to this committee so that we can get this matter out of the way. Otherwise, he's discrediting himself in a very serious way. Thanks.
Yeah, Chair. Yeah, if I might just add, I think the chairperson has actually handled all the matters, but as far as legitimacy is concerned, that kind of question just doesn't make sense to me, sitting here as a member of Parliament. You know, the question was settled in court on Friday. There's been no formal legal challenge to the legitimacy. Of course, there were concerns about some of the members who served on the Ad Hoc Committee prior to Friday. That has been sorted out, and we will move on with our work. I think we must be guarded that we do not allow this to be an inquiry by the media. Everybody's been given an opportunity to come before this committee, say what they want to, and I think even now the chairman and the committee will be open to anybody who wants to come here and give any kind of evidence or information to have that right to do so. So, you know, we are legitimate. We will continue with our work. We will not be intimidated. The committee has taken its work very seriously because it has a program, you know, running up until the 15th and a program set for early next year. And, you know, if anybody wants to take our recommendation to the National Assembly on review, then it's their right at that stage. But for now, we'll carry on with what we've been tasked to do. Thank you.
Chair, I'd also want to join my colleagues with regards to the question of legitimacy, to say on behalf of the ANC. When members of the boards of this nature are appointed, they get appointed by these 400 members of Parliament. So you can't be legitimate to appoint and otherwise when you have to oversight. The second matter, Chair, just to add on your document issues, that even ICASA confirmed that what you've just said, that they have never presented any braille. But there's another set of documents. There are these documents that they're refusing to give us, which obviously we will invoke the law to get those documents. But there are other set of documents that they claim to have lost. So we have done our work. We looked for the documents. We found the documents for them. AG has got the documents, but because of the relationship between the AG and SABC, AG is willing to avail those documents to SABC so that SABC can give us the documents. So we've done their work for themselves. So, and I think we've tried to work hard to get those things. So there's nothing really to be worried about. Actually, they should be happy to appear before the committee because we're also helping them also to do part of their work. Thank you, Chair.
Colleagues, I think the responses were succinct, clear. I'm not sure if maybe there's any qualms, follow-ups before we would Ajahn. Okay, 3. Thank you.
Follow up, when you say you're doing everything possible to get the documents, what is that?
That was one of my questions, and the second question I had was, in your experience, and this is to any of the members, have you ever met such resistance on any other ad hoc committee you've ever faced before or been on? Thanks.
Another issue that Prof. Maguve raised at his press conference was that he got a letter from you as a chairperson that he will be allowed, for example, to cross-examine witnesses and so forth. And he says he has been made aware that that condition has been removed, in a sense, that he will have to just sit through the inquiry and he will be embarrassed and he can't even say anything, you know, to rebut whatever is said about him. Just want to get clarity. Did you say that to him? Did you give him the right to cross-examine witnesses? And if that has been taken away, what are the reasons?
The one thing about this ad hoc committee is that maybe we are too polite. I had a pre-inquiry meeting with no less than 4 of the professor's legal team that I introduced here, just before we came in here. And that very issue was raised. And we clarified to that legal team that he will be afforded the right as is in our letter dated the 17th. Number 1. Number 2, Judge Desai made that commitment even to his legal team representing him there on Friday. Thirdly, again I want to repeat that if the professor is confident of his convictions, he should have come, or he must come and raise those matters in committee so that we discuss them. But we are not going to engage in press conference negotiations. No more. This will be the last time that we will ever answer in press conference negotiations. We will put our story forward. But to answer your question, sir, never have we said that he's not going to be afforded the right. That is why we invited him from day one. This morning, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, I had an engagement with his entire legal team. And we will repeat it when they come here tomorrow. And the courts have said it. So to answer your question, sir, he was not going to be sitting here to be insulted and to be made looking like a fool. He must come to the committee and raise an objection if he feels he wants to object. And we will be willing to listen to him, as we've done on every other occasion in this committee. Have we ever had this resistance? I think Mr. Singh and Mr. Walters answered that question, that they've been here for 17 and Matlangu and many of us have been here for many years. We've never seen such open defiance. Never seen such open defiance, to answer your question. And that is why we think the time has come. I think Honorable Khoza said it earlier on, that at some point we have to say no further. So far and no further. And this committee has started that process. We've never seen such defiance and such resistance before. In terms of what exactly we're doing with the documents, I mean, we don't have the technical, we're going to go to the sheriff or to the high court or whatever. That is what our legal team is doing. What we've said to them is that those documents must be made available to us. Now, do they go and get a court order? Do they write a letter? Do they engage a sheriff to walk into the SABC? Really, those are details that they are best suited to answer. But we've said leave no stone unturned. I hope that answers your question, ma'am. And I'm not sure if other members would want to add to or subtract from that. If we can do it in the same order that we did it earlier on, if you have anything.
Just to answer Paul's question about the SABC, and answer it a little bit differently because I serve on the Communications Committee. The SABC has been defiant of Parliament for the longest time. We've been in and out of court for 2 years. The Public Protector presented today saying how they've basically ignored all her remedial action. So that's why I'm saying that the work of this committee is of extreme importance. It goes beyond just the SABC. It's about restoring the integrity of Parliament. It's about restoring the authority of Parliament. So that's why it's great that today, instead of buckling like Parliament always does, instead of when the SABC starts fighting back, there's a retreat. Today we stood our ground. Today we said, like the chair said, this far and no further, and we did so to protect the institution of Parliament.
Yeah, Chair, I just wanted to say, I think we must not be misconstrued on the question of the defiance. I mean, we've noted the defiance, but that defiance is in no way going to influence our objectivity on the matter in coming to our recommendation. We put the defiance aside as part of the process, but we will objectively deal with all the evidence and all the documentation that comes before us and come up with a recommendation that we will put to the National Assembly.
And again, Mr. Maguve must not allow himself to fall prey to hearsay and word of mouth. The letter was written to him to say that he will be given all his rights in these proceedings. And this morning he was given an opportunity to lay out his plans, his legal plans. He was heard. We made decisions on that. He decided to walk out. He made that decision. And it was based on nothing that we had said to him or plundering of his rights. He did it by himself. He brought an entire entourage of people, about 17 of them, and we understand that there's only one board member there, plus maybe 2 executives. But he brought a team of 17. Nobody said anything against that. So how are his rights going to be flouted in further proceedings going forward? Thanks.
Chair, because I have actually served in various structures, we had a very interesting incident in one of the committees in Mpumalanga, where I was a member, where a DG, an HOD of Public Works, I think, defied legislature. Well, I don't know how he got into the committee meeting, whether he came by a van, a yellow van, or he came through in a car, but that man had not washed. So the police brought him into the meeting. And a similar matter will not stop us, will not stop from happening. Well, I wouldn't know because I don't operate in that police, but everyone who is required by the committee will appear. No two ways about it. Everyone will appear. And I think we are emphatic about that matter, and that's what we will see happening in the few coming days. So nobody will defy, doesn't matter how tall or short that person is.
Chair, can I? No, can I, maybe just to come in to reinforce what the chairperson has said on the issue of documentation. It has been a process. I think there's been letters to request before, and we end up having to issue someone because they've never been compliant from them with the request that we have sent, to a point that we issued summons. Now, this document did not just come because of their willingness. They came because we have issued summons. Now, they did not comply fully with the summons. So the summons still stands on the remaining document. Hence, the chair says that what will then happen will be to ignite other processes, which the legal team currently is working on. It's a simple process. It's a process of sending the sheriff together with the police to retrieve those documents, because we need those documents in the committee, And the law, in fact, permits us, once you have issued someone, if there's no compliance with the someone, the second action that then happens is to enforce that through either the police or through sheriff of court. But generally, with the experience, as Honorable Mahlangwe has just said, it's not a new thing at the level of the provincial legislature, even here in Parliament some years back. Not similar to this defiance, by the way, but a minor one. I've seen where we, in fact, summoned the public protector himself then, Mushwana, on the issue of the case between Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Malusi Gigaba, and the 500 rand of flowers. He appeared there through a someone, if you still remember. So it's not an issue that the Parliament does not have powers. We have, but we have not yet ignited to the level that someone will have to come behind the police van. And I think the manner in which the SABC, the team is doing now, we don't have any other option. But that's the option that we're going to look at moving forward.
Thank you, honourable members. I think you covered all the issues, and thank you, colleagues, for your patience. The committee will be sitting up until next week, so we hope that you will follow the work of the committee so that you are able to continue to update the public. Thank you very much, and the presser is adjourned.